knowing what I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera.
We'll
she saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact that voters...
But he wasn't.
But then he wasn't.
Thought that he...
Facts, he wasn't, and you didn't press him about it.
He was not transparent at all. No.
He promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all.
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right across from him and you asked none of that, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised you he would be fully transparent about his health issues.
That's true.
Of course not, guys, because CNN, Jake Tapper, they was pro Joe Biden and pro Kamala the whole time, the whole way. And guys, like I said this in previous videos, if you have two eyes that work, you can see that something was off with Joe Biden. Jake Tapper's been in DC, been in Washington for over 30 years. I'm pretty sure he could have saw that.
But I did ask him about his age and the fact that the American people had concluded that even though he said whenever anybody brought up the subject of his age, watch me. And I said, yes, they are concerned that you were too old for this job. So
pretty much he gave him a softball question.
You know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, hey, there's this poll on your age, or you could say, you just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead. You asked where she was moments after watching a videotape tribute to her. You lowered the flags at the White House after she died. This happened 13 days before you sat with him. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
Facts.
That's correct. I didn't. And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage. I mean, it's not like I was asking him his favorite movie or his...
Guys, Megyn Kelly is giving him that "you full of shit" look. Guys, he don't feel sorry. He's trying to fake like he's being introspective, but he don't feel bad about it. He's just over here trying to save his credibility because he knows the gig is up. And now he's trying to pull a scumbag move by writing a book like he was unaware of Joe Biden's mental decline. Are you serious?
His favorite color. We were talking about Putin. We were talking about other issues of national importance. But yeah, I mean, of course, I've said I look back at my coverage with humility, and I wish I did cover the issues of age and acuity, but I wish I had covered them much more. And I mean, of course, it's May 2025. Do I wish that in that 10, 15-minute interview I had with Biden in October 2022, that this had been the only subject? Because I had then
Well, it wasn't
what I
just
know
that,
now.
though, Jake. It wasn't just that. I mean, you sat with him a couple of times in the course of his presidency, and these issues were not pressed. Well, there was at least that time, and then there was the time at the beginning. And but separate and apart from that, you covered the Biden's presidency. No. Let me just finish my point. You covered the Biden presidency.
With him during his I had one interview with him
and it was
during the
13 days
presidency.
after the Jackie Walorski thing. But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president. You didn't seem interested.
That's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to watch somebody on stage search for
that's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you
stuttering.
were mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Now look at how hostile he was to her, and come to find out she was right the whole time. He was very hostile to her, and just typical left-leaning fashion, virtue signaling, gaslighting, trying to shame people, and covering up for Joe Biden.
Do you want to apologize to Lara Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Lara Trump and I said, you were right.
She was totally right. That's the thing, because when I watched that clip, and I'm giving voice to what a lot of people watching the show are feeling, Jake, I feel angry because she was right. And not only did you not allow her to make her comments, but you seemed to try to humiliate her. You had a hostility toward the position. But
yes, he was very hostile towards her. That's pretty much typical left-leaning fashion. They're very hostile. They're very visceral, and they tend to gaslight and political posture.
But she was totally right. And then you lectured her on how she was in no position to diagnose cognitive decline, which you guys do at length, including on page 4 of your book. You describe at length his cognitive decline, which is all she tried to do with you. But you had such
funny how that works. Now he jumped down her ass for diagnosing him when he's doing it himself in his own book. What a fucking hypocrite, guys. Seriously. What a hypocrite.
a visceral reaction to her. And my feeling is that's because you didn't want to hear it.
No, if we can, I'm happy to talk about this. I didn't come here thinking that you weren't going to ask. I'm happy to talk to you about it.
No, I know.
The first time I saw the coverage of Lara Trump's comments.
Guys, if the gig wasn't up, he wouldn't have came to our show. Seriously. If all this information about Joe Biden wouldn't have came out, he wouldn't have came to our show. He's just here looking out for himself. This is a money grab because it helps sell his book. So he'll take the beating. But on the same token, he's just trying to save whatever credibility he has left. Because nobody's going to trust Democrats after this.
Which were interpreted as her mocking Joe Biden's stutter, was in January 2020. I read it in conservative media. I read it in the Daily Mail. And that's where I saw that her comments were being interpreted that way. After those comments were publicized, it got a lot of coverage. And Sully Sullenberger wrote an op-ed in the New York Times criticizing her about this. So that's the context for that, that I was following up on a story that had been out there months before. This is also in the context of October 2020, a very intense time. People on the Biden side are saying crazy things about Trump. People on the Trump side are saying crazy things about Biden, including Don Jr. suggesting that Joe Biden is a pedophile. So that is the larger context. But as I said, her comments have aged well. My comments have aged poorly. I own that. But I think what is significant is, in addition to me owning that, the reporting that Alex and I have done, which is beyond just, and when I say just, I don't mean to diminish it, but the comments of Joe Biden making gaffes, saying things stupid, tripping, are all important and all deserved to be aired and all deserve scrutiny. But as you know, Megyn, because even though you look 30 years younger than me, we're roughly the same age, Joe Biden has been saying
oh, Lord, y'all. Now he's trying to butter her up because she's getting in his ass aggressively.
Stupid things for decades. Okay,
I get
and
what you're
he has been,
saying, but
he's
this
been.
minimizes it too, because it was
No,
more
I'm not
than saying
minimizing at
stupid
all.
things. But I'm telling you, like over here in my ecosphere, we were covering all of these. It wasn't just falling down; it was getting lost. It was some of the stuff you report in your book. We knew, and we were reporting on, like the multi-jump cuts in the videos of him, where it was obvious he couldn't get through a 1-minute take. So they had to use those. It was clear to us that he was using teleprompter, and there was some reporting on that at the time, all of which the White House was denying. Now, with the current White House, I have some connections. With the Joe Biden White House, I had none, but you did. You did. And so
No,
while
that's
Well, the thing of it is, guys, any journalist that would have called it straight down the middle, they wouldn't have been there. They wouldn't have had any kind of connections. CNN damn near had the key to the White House because they were pro Joe Biden. But if you call that shit straight down the middle, like Fox or even like Megyn Kelly, nah, you didn't have no connections. You had limited access.
you've been in
Megan.
Washington 30 years, Jake. You guys, you and CNN have White House connections, but there was no effort, none, to get to the bottom of this. And now for you
That's
guys
not
to write this
accurate.
book like there was a cover up, it's like there was a cover up and there was an attempted cover up. It could only ever work if you allowed it.
Yeah, guys. I just want to say, he's not sorry. He don't feel bad about any of this. Jake Tapper is a scumbag and he's a phony. He's a scumbag for trying to capitalize off this when knowing that he knew about this the whole time. If a motherfucker like me can see something is off with Joe Biden, I know that he can because Jake Tapper is not a stupid man. And like I said earlier, nobody is going to trust the Democrats after this because they all covered up for them. And now their favorite word now, their main word to say is now we're moving forward. Man, fuck that. Let's uncover this. Nobody, if you trust the Democrats at this point, you are a moron and you don't have a brain. And now Jake Tapper is around here trying to pretend like he's being introspective or self-reflecting. Guys, he doesn't care. He's just there for the money grab. And he's just trying to save his credibility. But anyway, y'all, this your boy Mazel Capone, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.